You know your week's going sideways when the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom has to publicly defend the Mayor of London from the President of the United States like he's refereeing a playground scrap between two kids who can't stand each other. Welcome back to UK Political Insight, where today we're diving into the absolutely glorious mess that is the Donald Trump versus Sadiq Khan feud, now featuring special guest referee Keir Starmer, who apparently decided that staying neutral wasn't an option anymore. But before we proceed, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button for more updates on the UK Political Insight. Thank you. This is international diplomacy meets petty beef meets political theater. And honestly, it's the kind of content that makes covering politics genuinely entertaining. Buckle up, because this one's got layers. So here's what happened. Donald Trump, President of the United States, leader of the free world, man with nuclear codes, decided that what his schedule really needed was another public dig at Sadiq Khan, the mayor of London. He called Khan a disaster and disgusting in an interview with Politico, which is the kind of diplomatic language that makes foreign policy experts weep into their briefing papers. Now, Trump and Khan have been at each other's throats for years. This isn't new. What is new is that Keir Starmer, who initially tried to stay out of it, has now waded in to explicitly defend Khan, declaring that Trump's comments are wrong and that Khan is doing an excellent job. Plot twist, we've got a diplomatic incident brewing over municipal governance and hurt feelings. Let's rewind and set the scene properly, because this feud has history, and I mean proper, decade-long, petty, glorious history. Trump and Khan have been trading insults since way back, long before Trump was president and when Khan was a relatively new mayor. The bad blood started properly kicking off around the time of Trump's travel ban and various terror attacks in London. Trump would criticize Khan's response to security issues. Khan would fire back, calling Trump's policies divisive and dangerous. And the whole thing became this transatlantic soap opera that neither of them could resist continuing. It's like a rivalry in a TV show that keeps getting renewed for another season because the writers know the audience loves it. Fast forward to now, and Trump's back in the White House, Khan's still running London, and apparently nothing has changed, except both of them have even bigger platforms to trade barbs from. In the Political interview, Trump didn't just call Khan a disaster and disgusting, he also suggested that Khan was elected because so many people have come in, which is Trump speak for immigration has changed London's demographics. It's the kind of dog whistle politics that Trump's famous for, making a point about immigration and diversity without quite saying it directly, letting everyone fill in the blanks themselves. Subtle as a brick through a window, but effective with his dace. Now, Downing Street's initial response on Tuesday was beautifully wishy-washy. A spokesman said Keir Starmer had strong relationships with both men, and basically tried to avoid taking sides. That's textbook diplomacy. Don't antagonize the President of the United States over a spat with your own mayor. Maintain relationships, keep everyone happy. The problem is that refusing to defend Khan looked weak, like Starmer was prioritizing keeping Trump sweet over backing his own party colleague. Labour MPs weren't thrilled, London voters probably weren't thrilled, and Khan himself was out there fighting his own battles while his prime minister sat on the fence. So by Wednesday, something changed. Maybe the backlash got too loud, maybe Starmer's team realized the optics were terrible, or maybe Starmer himself just got fed up with the whole thing. Either way, Downing Street came out swinging with a full-throated defense of Khan. The Prime Minister's press secretary said the comments are wrong, that Khan is doing an excellent job delivering free school meals in primary schools, cleaning up London's air with the world's largest clean air zone, and starting record numbers of council houses. Then came the kicker. Starmer is hugely proud of Khan's record and proud to call him a colleague and a friend. That's not fence-sitting. That's a clear public rebuke of the American president. Let's take a moment to appreciate how wild that is. The Prime Minister of the United Kingdom has publicly told the President of the United States that he's wrong. Not we disagree, not there are different perspectives, wrong. That's diplomatically pretty spicy. The UK-US relationship is supposedly the special relationship, all alliance and cooperation and shared values. Telling the American president he's wrong over something like this risks annoying someone who's famously thin-skinned and vindictive when he feels disrespected. Starmer's clearly calculated that defending Khan is worth potentially irritating Trump, which tells you something about the political pressures he's facing domestically.
Now, let's talk about Khan's response, because he's not exactly staying quiet either. He told Politico that Americans are flocking to live in London because its values are the antithesis of the US under Trump. That's a proper burn. He's essentially saying London represents everything Trump's America doesn't: tolerance, diversity, openness, and people are voting with their feet by moving there. Whether that's actually true or just political spin is debatable, but as a comeback, it's pretty solid. The substance of Trump's criticism is worth examining, because it's not just random insults. There's a political narrative behind it. Trump's base loves it when he attacks liberal mayors of diverse cities. Khan fits that target perfectly. He's Muslim, he's labor, he runs a cosmopolitan global city, and he's been vocally critical of Trump for years. Attacking him plays well with Trump supporters who see big cities as dens of liberal excess and failed governance. Trump doesn't need his criticism to be accurate or fair, he needs it to reinforce his narrative, and calling Khan a disaster does that job nicely. But here's the thing. Khan's actual record is mixed, like most politicians. London has issues: crime, cost of living, housing shortages, transport problems, all the usual urban challenges. Khan's critics, and there are plenty in London itself, will point to knife crime statistics, transport failures, and various controversies. His supporters will point to expanded free school meals, the ultra-low emission zone improving air quality, and efforts on housing. Like any mayor of a massive, complex city, he's got wins and losses. Trump calling him disgusting and a disaster is hyperbole, but it's not like Khan is universally loved even in his own city. The immigration angle that Trump hinted at is particularly loaded. London is one of the most diverse cities on the planet. That's either a huge strength or a huge problem, depending on your politics. Trump suggesting that Khan was elected because so many people have come in is implying that immigrants and their descendants changed London's electorate to the point where someone like Khan could win. It's a narrative that plays to anxieties about demographic change and cultural identity. Khan supporters would argue London's diversity is its greatest asset, and having a Muslim mayor reflects the city's openness. Trump supporters would argue it shows how immigration has fundamentally altered the character of major Western cities. What makes this particularly awkward for Starmer is that he needs Trump. The UK needs the US for trade deals, security cooperation, intelligence sharing, all this stuff that makes this special relationship actually matter. Trump's back in the White House, and he's shown repeatedly that he takes personal relationships and loyalty seriously. If he feels insulted or disrespected, he can make things difficult. Tariffs, trade negotiations, defense commitments. There are multiple levers Trump can pull if he decides the UK isn't being friendly enough. So Starmer calling him wrong is a calculated risk. He's betting that standing by Khan is more important politically than keeping Trump entirely happy, which tells you something about the political pressures he's facing domestically. The flip side is that not defending Khan would have been even worse domestically. Khan is a major figure in labor. He's got his own political base, and he's popular with the party's core voters. If Starmer had continued to equivocate or refuse to back him against Trump's attacks, he'd looked weak and disloyal to his own people. Labor members and voters expect their leader to stand up to Trump, not cozy up to him. So Starmer was stuck between a rock and a hard place: annoy Trump or annoy his own party. He chose to annoy Trump, which is probably the right call politically, even if it complicates the diplomatic relationship. The spokesman's initial line that Starmer has strong relationships with both men was classic political hedging, trying to be friends with everyone and defend nobody. It's the kind of answer that satisfies no one because it takes no position. When pressed and when the backlash built, they had to pick a side, and they picked Khan. That's significant because it shows that domestic political pressures matter more than keeping Trump happy, at least on this issue. If Trump does something that affects UK interests more directly, Starmer might not be so quick to criticize, but on a spat about London's mayor, he can afford to back his colleague. What's genuinely entertaining about this whole saga is how personal it is. These aren't abstract policy disagreements about trade terms or defense spending. It's Trump calling Khan disgusting and Khan saying Trump's obsessed with him. It's playground level stuff conducted by world leaders and major political figures on the international stage. There's something delightfully absurd about the President of the United States spending his time insulting the mayor of London while the Prime Minister has to issue statements about it. This is what politics has become: petty feuds amplified by social media and 24-hour news cycles. The media is eating it up, obviously. Trump versus Khan is a gift for headlines. And now you can add Starmer defends Khan against Trump to the mix. It's got everything: international tension, personal beef, political drama, and the novelty of a prime minister publicly telling a president he's wrong. News editors are probably thrilled because it's way more interesting than dry policy debates about fiscal rules or infrastructure spending. The problem is that while we're all entertained by the soap opera, actual important issues get less attention because they're not as fun to cover. Khan's claim that Americans are flocking to London is interesting because there's some truth to it, but not for the reasons he implies. London has always attracted Americans. It's a global city with lots of opportunities, cultural amenities, and the benefit of speaking English. Whether they're specifically fleeing Trump's America for London's enlightened values is questionable. More likely they're coming for jobs, education, or just the experience of living abroad. Khan spinning it as a referendum on values, which is politically clever but probably overstating things. People move for complex reasons, not usually because they're making political statements about which leader they prefer. Trump's obsession, if we want to call it that, with Khan probably comes down to a few factors. One, Khan's been a vocal critic since day one, and Trump never forgets a slight.